Hello and welcome. If you're watching this, you and your child might be starting a new and, well, unexpected journey. We wanted to create this space just for you to offer some clear answers and a whole lot of hope as we gently walk through what spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, is all about. You just marvel at it, don't you? That amazing, unstoppable drive a child has to roll over, or to reach for a favorite toy, or to take that very first wobbly step. All of that comes from the strength in their muscles, and it's all powered by these tiny, incredible messages traveling all through their body. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to break down what SMA actually is, but not with a bunch of complicated medical jargon. We'll just take a simple look at how these muscle messages are supposed to work. Think of it like this. Your child's brain is the command center. It sends out a message, something like, hey, let's lift that arm. And that message travels down a pathway of nerves. As soon as that message gets to the muscle knows exactly what to do. It's this brilliant system that's working all the time without us even having to think about it. Now, with SMA, some of those nerve pathways, the ones carrying the messages, start to get weaker. It's not that the brain isn't sending the message, and it's definitely not that the muscles don't want to work. It's more like the connection, that nerve, is having a hard time delivering the instructions clearly. And that's really what can make movement, sitting, or playing a little more challenging. I know a diagnosis like this can feel absolutely overwhelming, but it is so important to hear this next part loud and clear. The story of SMA has changed. It has dramatically changed. We are in a brand new era of understanding and treatment, and that really is the most important message of all. So you're probably asking why? Why does this happen? Well, the reason is found in our genes, which are kind of like the body's detailed instruction manual. Let's talk about two really important messengers that are in charge of keeping those muscle nerves strong and healthy. Okay, so let's imagine the body is building something crucial, and to do it right, it needs a special protein to keep all the motor neurons healthy. Now, the SMN1 gene, let's call that one the main architect. It's the expert, the pro. It makes about 90% of all the perfect, high-quality protein we need. And then you have the SMN2 gene. We can think of it as the helpful apprentice. It really tries to help, but it only manages to make a small amount, maybe 10% of that really good, fully functional protein. So here's what happens in children with SMA. That main architect gene, the SMN1, is either missing or it just isn't working the way it should. This means the body has to rely completely on the helpful apprentice, SMN2, to make all of that vital protein for the motor neurons. And, while that apprentice tries its absolute best, it just can't make enough on its own to keep those nerve pathways strong. And this is exactly why the number of these apprentice genes makes such a big difference. Some kids have 2 copies of that SMN2 gene, but others might have 3 or 4 or sometimes even more. The more apprentice genes a child has, well, the more protein their body can make, which often helps explain why SMA can look so different from one child to the next. Okay, so what might you notice? And how do we get clear answers? This part of the journey is all about observation and finding clarity. And honestly, it's often more straightforward than you might imagine. You know your child better than anyone on this planet. So you might be the first to notice little things. Maybe their arms or legs seem a bit weaker, or they just get tired more quickly than other babies. Sometimes it's about seeing delays in reaching those big, exciting milestones, like getting good head control or figuring out how to sit up on their own. This chart here shows some of the typical motor milestones for babies, but remember, this is just a general guide. Every single child develops on their own beautiful, unique timeline. If you have any concerns, this can be a really helpful starting point for a conversation with your doctor. The path to getting a real, solid answer is actually very clear. It all starts with a conversation. You just share what you've been seeing with your doctor. If they suspect SMA, the next step is a simple and totally safe blood test. This isn't some scary, invasive procedure. It's a genetic test that looks specifically for that missing or faulty SMN1 gene, and it gives a very clear, very reliable diagnosis. And that clarity brings us right here to what is truly the most hopeful part of this whole conversation. The last decade has seen incredible, game-changing breakthroughs. It's created a genuine turning point for children and families living with SMA. So remember our helpful apprentice, that SMN2 gene that was trying so hard but just couldn't make enough protein? Well, the new generation of medicines for SMA are just remarkable. They work by basically coaching that apprentice gene. They help it fix its own process so it can produce much, much more of that full-length, high-quality protein that the motor neurons have been missing. And by boosting the amount of this essential protein, the nerve cells that send out all those messages to the muscles can get healthier and stronger. This, in turn, can help improve muscle function, protect against more weakness, and help children reach milestones they might not have been able to before. So just how big of a difference are we talking about? Well, in one of the key studies for an early treatment, 41% of the babies who received it showed a really significant motor milestone response. And in the group of infants who didn't get the treatment, that number was 0. That is just a powerful, powerful demonstration of what's now possible. And this is exactly why early diagnosis, especially through newborn screening programs, is so revolutionary. The evidence is overwhelming. The sooner a child starts treatment, ideally even before symptoms really show up, the better the outcome. It gives us this incredible window of opportunity to protect those motor neurons before they're lost. But, medicine is just one piece of the puzzle. Building a strong, bright future for your child is a team effort, and you have an amazing network of support ready and waiting for you. Please hear this. You are not alone on this journey, not for a second. Your team will include physiotherapists to help with exercises for strength and movement, nutritionists to make sure your child is getting all the fuel they need to grow strong, and, if it's ever needed, specialists to help support their breathing. And guiding all of this is a dedicated medical team that is focused entirely on your child and your family. Every single person on that team shares the exact same goal. It's not just about managing a condition, no. It's about improving strength and function and quality of life. It's about giving your child every single opportunity to thrive, to play, and to live a full and happy life. So as we wrap up, let's look forward. Because the path ahead is one that you can absolutely walk with confidence and a whole lot of optimism. If there's one thing to take away from our time together, it's this. The combination of early detection and these groundbreaking treatments has completely rewritten the story of SMA. The possibilities for children who are diagnosed today are greater than they have ever been in all of history. Every child's journey is their own, It's filled with its own unique moments of triumph and pure joy. So we'll leave you with this thought to carry with you. What amazing things will your child accomplish? What wonderful, incredible milestones are you going to celebrate together? The future is waiting.